It's Friday, and that means it's time for At the Box Office. We're joined now by film critic Julia Swift to hear her thoughts on a new film, The Order. Hi, Julia. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. So, this film, The Order, it's the kind of film that we used to have a lot of. It's like a middle budget, it's not huge, but it has big stars and a really smart script. So, it's called The Order, and it is based on a true story that happened in the 80s when an FBI lawman, who this is played by Jude Law in like a serious, smart role. We haven't seen that in a really long time from Jude Law, I feel like. I feel like the last time I saw him in something and I was like, wow, he's so good was The Young Pope, which was like 2016. He's been doing a lot of big movies to make money, but this is one that he gets to like really dive into. So in the 80s, there was an FBI lawman and he had dealt with the mob and now he was called to go to Idaho and he felt like he was in the middle of nowhere and there were a string of bank robberies that started happening in the Northwest and he started connecting that to white supremacist terrorists. And so it really is this, it's like a cat and mouse chase. It has like thriller elements, but when I heard about it, I thought we've seen this movie before. But what makes this movie really different is the writing and also the inclusion of there was a radio commentator in the 80s who was Jewish, who was on air, who would have white supremacists call in and he would fight with them. He was in Denver. And even though this takes place in Idaho, they bring him in and it adds a level of let's think about what we're seeing here on a deeper level, right? Let's think about actually the effects this are having on people all over the country, these white supremacist movement. And then it also even has a connection to the Capitol riots. And so, because there was a book that the white supremacists would read to their kids, and that book is still used today. So it has these connections, but they're not overt. It's like it's the realm in which this movie takes place, and it's just such amazing writing. It's the same writer, it's Zach Balin, who also did King Richard about the father of the Williams sisters, which was such an amazing script, and he won Best Script for that. And this one is also just such a strong script because it is a thriller, but at the same time, it really goes deep into the characters. Um, Not the female characters. But this is a world where the female characters kind of don't exist in the white supremacist movement, where they're just there to have babies, right? So there are no there are a couple, but they barely have roles of female characters. But Jude Law really gets to have a lot of fun here, as does Nicholas Hoult. He plays the white supremacist leader, and he is so charismatic and engaging that you totally believe that he's this guy. And he also was the young kid in About a Boy. So really special acting in this and a slow burn. I wouldn't give it a 5 out of 5, but I definitely would give it a 4 out of 5. It's a strong, interesting film.
Okay, well, you've heard it out there. Thank you so much, Julia. And you can catch The Order in theaters today. And stay tuned, we'll be back after the break.